Hey everyone, Benson here, Performance Capability. Hope you're well. So today we're going to talk about why self-acceptance is the key to breakthroughs. So stick around, it's going to be a great video. See, have you ever noticed how the hardest person to accept is yourself? Most people think breakthroughs come from working harder or, getting lucky. But the real key is self-acceptance. Until you accept yourself fully, strengths, flaws, all of it, you keep tripping over the same shadow. Acceptance doesn't weaken you, it unlocks you. What part of yourself have you been rejecting that actually holds the key to your next breakthrough? That's what this video is about. Let's run the intro. So let me ask you something that most leaders, most achievers don't want to hear. Do you actually accept yourself? And I'm not talking about the version that you post online. I'm not talking about the highlight reel, not the mask you wear at work either. I'm talking about the real you, the impatient one, the insecure one, the part of you that sometimes doubts that you're enough. Do you accept that person? Because until you do, every breakthrough you're chasing will remain out of reach. Trust me on this. I've had so many experience with people that have achieved in their life, but inside they're missing something. I was reading a story about Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian of all time. Great swimmer. And before his victories, he had problems of battling depression, addiction, and self-hatred. The world saw a champion, but he didn't accept himself. This happens so many times to so many high-profile people, and not so high-profile people too. His breakthrough didn't come in the pool, it came in rehab when he said, I had to learn to like the person I saw in the mirror before I could win again. Once he accepted himself, his comeback was unstoppable. Self-acceptance wasn't just healing, it was his performance and his fuel. See, think for a moment, think about a tree. Its roots might be twisted, scarred, even buried in rocky soil, but those roots are still its foundation. The tree doesn't deny them, it draws strength, nutrients, and stability from them. See, you can't grow tall by hating your roots. You grow tall by embracing them, allowing them to feed you, accepting them, to steady you and hold you upright when the storms ultimately will come. Self-acceptance is the root system to literally every breakthrough. See, when Winston Churchill, one of the most powerful leaders in history, called his depression the black dog, instead of pretending it didn't exist, he admitted it, sometimes even joked about it, and openly acknowledged its presence to those around him. By accepting it, he was able to manage it, channel his energy, and still lead Britain through its darkest hour with clarity and courage. His acceptance didn't make him weaker. It made him real, relatable, resilient, and ultimately a more trusted leader. See, let me ask you this question. What part of yourself are you still rejecting? Pushing into the shadows, hoping it will just disappear on its own, when in reality it's crying out to be acknowledged, accepted, and ultimately transformed. What energy would be freed up if you stopped fighting yourself, silencing, second-guessing, and even sabotaging, and instead started accepting yourself fully, challenging that energy into creation, growth, and impact? What breakthrough, whether in your business, in your relationships, your leadership, or even your health, is waiting on the other side of self-acceptance, just beyond the line you've been afraid to cross? See, because here's the truth. You can't outrun yourself. Every mile you try only brings you back to the same place. The only way forward is through, as they say, because facing yourself is the doorway to freedom. Self-rejection keeps you stuck in the loop of striving without arriving. Self-acceptance breaks that loop and sets you free to grow, to create, and ultimately to lead. See, let me give you 3 keys of self-acceptance. Number 1, acknowledge your flaws without shame. Look them in the eye, name them with honesty, and strip away the guilt, because recognition without self-condemnation is the first act of freedom. Embrace your story, all of it, the triumphs, the tragedies, the chapters, the ones you celebrate and the ones you'd rather forget, because every page has shaped you, and the acceptance of the whole book is what gives your life power and coherence. Leverage your uniqueness as your advantage. Recognize that that's what sets you apart. Not your liability, but a strength. The quirks, the perspectives, the lived experiences, those things that no one else carries are the very assets that make your contribution irreplaceable. See, remember, roots feed the tree. Even if they're twisted, scarred, bruised, or buried in hard soil, what looks unattractive underground is exactly what sustains everything above the ground. Anchoring the tree through storms and fuel, giving it strength and letting it reach higher. Mirrors don't lie. You grow when you stop flinching at your reflection, when you dare to face it without judgment and begin to see not just flaws, but the raw material of the future of that strength that could be you. Breakthroughs aren't built in denial. They're built on ownership, because only when you claim your whole truth can you construct a future that's authentic, sustainable, and ultimately strong. And remember, self-acceptance isn't settling, it's strengthening, because it gives you the solid ground to stand on while you reach higher, lead bolder, and live freer. What you embrace ultimately empowers you. It fuels confidence, creativity, and courage. What you reject drains you, silently siphoning every energy, joy, and potential until you feel empty. The shortest path to breakthrough is through yourself, not around yourself, because every detour you take to avoid who you are only delays the destination of who you could ultimately be. So here's my challenge to you today. Tonight, stand in front of the mirror and say out loud the part of yourself that you've been rejecting. Not to fix it, not to hide it, but ultimately to accept it, because the second you accept it, the war inside ends. And when the war inside ends, breakthroughs outside begin. Remember, self-acceptance is not the end of growth. It's the ignition to start it. Accept yourself fully and watch the breakthroughs follow, because they will come. I'm Benson, Performance Capability at performancecapability.com and bensonspeaks.com. And just as I finish, I want to share with you a little booklet that I've created for you guys. This is called The Art of Strategic Intention. You can get a free copy at those two websites that I've just mentioned. You can download it for free if you sign up to my website. If you want a physical copy, I can send that to you by going to bensonspeaks.com, go to the book section, and you'll see a copy there that you can order if you so wish. But there's some great information in there, 9 ideas or 9 principles, the law of deep desire, the illusion of free will, the power of controlled obsession, the strategic nature of self-interest, the seduction of comfort, the alchemy of reinvention, the art of the long game, the currency of influence, and the psychology of attraction and repulsion. So I hope you get some value out of that. If you guys want to reach out, if there's any specific subjects that you want me to cover, I'd be happy to do that. And in the meantime, this is Performance Capability. Look out for us in the next video, and I'll see you soon.
Hold your breath, all the moves we're making. I'm scared to death.